We got to talk about some other big news of the day and still a lot of questions this morning after the FBI served a warrant at a Fulton County elections facility removing thousands of ballots from the 2020 election. We're told all part of a federal investigation. Rarione Maniece reporting live from her outside where this happened yesterday. And Ariana, I guess we first found out about this around noon yesterday, but judging by the video you're showing this morning, it looks like they were out there well into the night.
That's just FBI agents went in and out of here at the Fulton County Elections Hub for hours that stretched into the evening. Now, we also know that the deputy director of the FBI, they also got here in Atlanta. They were also here on the scene, as well as the director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, and that raid went on into the evening hours, Dan. And the DOJ, the thing is, they've been suing Fulton County already for these records, but a judge has yet to rule on this case. Court documents show the Justice Department is examining possible violations of federal election laws, including how records were stored and maintained here at the Elections Hub. Now, we did hear from state and county election leaders who were also here on the scene as the records were seized, who say they expect federal investigators to review the records as part of that process.
I think the FBI is going to do their job, and I think it's about time that that people have answers. And so, we're just here to see what's happening.
Fulton County Superior Court had scheduled a February 9th hearing where we were doing a transfer of all of those records to the parties involved, but we thought it was going to be an orderly transfer. So we were already planning to make sure. We had already said how many boxes, we had already said how much there was, and that's what we were planning to do.
Yeah, so it appears the DOJ went ahead of that court ruling. As you heard from that election official, there was a court date set for February 9th. As far as that search warrant, the FBI hasn't released any further details, only saying that the investigation is ongoing at this point. And those records, they will be headed to the FBI central office that's located in Virginia. As soon as we get more developments out of this story, Dan will be sure to bring you the latest. Reporting live here in Fulton County, I'm Rarione Maniece for 11 Alive. Back to you.
Ariana, thanks for that report. And I want to get to some reaction we're getting from people on both sides of the aisle. And I will start with some Democrats here. Senator John Ossoff called President Trump a sore loser on a crusade in response to what we saw. The Democratic Party of Georgia issued this statement saying that every Georgian should be alarmed that Donald Trump is wielding federal law enforcement to push his baseless, dangerous lies about winning the 2020 election. And then some Republican responses that we are seeing on X include this response from Representative Buddy Carter, now running for U.S. Senate, Senator Ossoff's seat, in fact, saying Georgians are about to get some long overdue answers and will learn just how right President Trump was in 2020. Representative Mike Collins on X said, "Go get him, Cash," in reference to FBI Director Kash Patel. And then you had Burt Jones also on X saying Fulton County elections couldn't run a bake sale. And he goes on to say, unfortunately, our Secretary of State hasn't fixed the corruption and our Attorney General hasn't prosecuted it, saying today is an important step toward accountability. We also heard from President Trump just a week ago speaking at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, almost hinting at what was to come yesterday with the raid. Let's listen to some of his comments.
Have never started, and it wouldn't have started if the 2020 U.S. presidential election weren't rigged. It was a rigged election. Everybody now knows that. They found out. People will soon be prosecuted for what they did. It's probably breaking news, but it should be. It was a rigged election. You can't have rigged elections. You need strong borders, strong elections, and ideally a good press. I always say it.
Donald Trump there speaking last week in Davos, Switzerland at the World Economic Forum, mentioning the 2020 election. It's something he's talked about for years now.